Today's contentious political climate, a Buffalo actor is looking to portray a plain-spoken president from another time. It has taken this actor a year to prepare for this role that will put him on a Buffalo stage all by himself for an hour and a half. David Lundy is preparing for the role of his lifetime.
Yeah, I've worked as an actor off and on for most of my life, but I never really thought this would ever happen, and it is a dream come true. It really is.
Inside the New Phoenix Theater, within sight of Buffalo's political stronghold, Lundy is taking on the role of a former president.
He's somebody that I've always looked up to, and it started with this play, seeing this play. I read everything that I could get my hands on about Harry Truman after seeing this play.
Lundy will portray President Harry Truman, the plain-spoken, no-nonsense 33rd President of the United States, in the acclaimed one-man play, Give 'Em Hell, Harry.
The future of mankind will be assured.
Truman became president after the death of FDR and guided the nation through the tumultuous end of World War II and the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Later, he beat Thomas Dewey to remain in the White House, even though the Chicago Daily Tribune said otherwise. Lundy so immersed himself in this role that he took a road trip last summer to Truman's hometown of Independence, Missouri, to see his presidential library and to learn more about the man.
I said that I was going for research, but really it was because I wanted to see these things that I'd been reading about all my life.
He's developed an understanding of Truman's demeanor, his carriage, his clothing, even the way he combed his hair. And he has become meticulous in his transformation to the president who famously informed Americans, "The buck stops here." Lundy will wear the Truman mantle on stage for an hour and a half each night, a daunting endeavor with so much dialogue it has taken him a year to get ready.
I may have inherited this job, but by God, I'm in charge, and they damn well better know it. That's all, boys.
Including examining each line of the play and comparing the playwright's changes made for actor James Whitmore in 1975. Whitmore, who went to Amherst High School, was nominated for an Academy Award for his performance in Give 'Em Hell, Harry.
You know, I never saw myself as president. I was just in the right place at the wrong time.
But Lundy is putting his own touch on this role.
I never saw myself as president. I was simply in the right place at the wrong time.
I'm not trying to imitate James Whitmore. I'm trying to be Harry Truman.
Lundy is keenly aware of the political climate that surrounds his premiere. Presidential candidates are engaged in a vigorous slugfest for the Oval Office that Truman once occupied. And what would Truman say?
Well, I'll tell you, there is one thing that can ruin this country, and that would be if we had a liar in public office. Well, of course, the Constitution will stop him every time. But this country should never have a liar in public office.
Truman was a Democrat, but setting aside party loyalty, he might have this advice for today's voters.
Well, listen, don't you dare vote for any party. You vote for yourselves, for your interests, and that'll wind up being the right party.
David Lundy says he has looked up to Harry Truman his whole life, and as he steps into the spotlight as Truman, his dedication is clear.
There's a quote engraved near his tomb that says, "All I want for history is the truth." And that summed up, for me, how I felt about Truman.
He's doing a great job. David Lundy will give 6 performances of Give 'Em Hell, Harry next week and the following week at the New Phoenix Theater here in Buffalo. I've put the dates and the ticket information on our website, WIVB.com.